You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. Your fuck mate.
And we are
nice now.
recording.
Hello, bonjour.
Hello, friends.
Election night in Canada.
Election night in Canada. You're listening to the
tense.
Friends of Rugby live election coverage.
Live on location at Lib headquarters.
If you had to pick a rugby player to run for government, who would you for Canada?
For Canada?
Yeah, Prime Minister of Canada, one rugby player.
Who's a Canadian rugby player?
No.
Any rugby
any
player?
rugby player. Nationality doesn't count.
Who's got a bit? None of them have personality anymore. So
Who's that fucking guy from
Ken
Australia?
Owens. Ken Owens.
Ken Owens.
He loves doing dinner speeches. Loves getting dressed up. He'd be a great prime minister.
Who's the guy in Australia? He's in politics now.
Robbie Valentine.
No.
Oh fuck yeah!
What's his name?
David Pocock.
Yes,
Yeah,
Pocock.
he's an actual politician.
Thank God your brain's all good with memory and shit. And
I offered you dinner. You could have had a bunch of Thai noodles up in your
what
belly.
is up with your shirt?
It's my work shirt. Do you like it?
It's just reminding me of something. I just can't.
Do you remember fashion?
How you feeling, Frank?
I'm actually surprised I'm not hanging out my ass because we had the Jasper Sevens rugby tournament, which I got back from. You can hear it in my voice a bit. And but I had a good night's sleep, had some good food. I'm all right. How are you?
Tell the listeners who slept with who.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. There was a lot of sleeping.
I'm a little uncomfortable.
Why? You don't know?
No, I went and got a massage yesterday, and I had to get this new lady
Yeah.
who assaulted me.
What?
Pretty much.
Is this a serious thing? Do we need to
Yeah,
stop
this is
recording?
serious. No. This is. I'm going to tell the people. I want people to hear about this.
Okay, you're reporting a crime?
I'm like this lady. This girl is small,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And all of a sudden, she's just like mounts me while I'm laying down.
Did she warn you?
No, she didn't. And she was
Okay.
just like grinding her knees, feet, and elbows like all over my back. And at one point, she had both of her knees on both of my butt cheeks,
Right.
and then her elbows between my shoulder blades.
Ooh.
And she's just fucking going at it. And
Did
then
it-
she
did
starts
it work?
pulling me back, like.
So they're giving you a little reach around?
Yeah, she grabs my chin and starts pulling me backwards, and she's got her knees in my fucking back, and I'm like, and I feel my back legit feels bruised.
Oh.
Yeah,
Didn't work.
I couldn't hold it anymore, and I wanted to tell
She was
someone.
just like, I'm having a bad day. I'm just gonna fuck this guy up.
Yeah, she fucked me right up. Like I was just like, oh. She's like, oh, you might be a little sore tomorrow. No kidding.
I think is that
Just beat
is
the
that
shit out of me.
legal if they don't tell you that they're gonna?
There was like no warning,
Hmm.
and she was just like, yeah, she just like was just on top of me, like walking around like on the fucking dance floor. Like I was just like, oh my God.
Night fever on your back.
Yeah, I was super surprised. I was like, oh shit, okay. And then, yeah, now like my spine feels bruised.
Did she acknowledge it afterwards? Was she like, sorry, I got a bit carried away. Sometimes I get too much into my work.
Yeah, it's like I get lost. I get lost in the massage.
Yeah, the song changed from ambience to like System of a Down. She
Yeah,
goes
what
for
the
it.
fuck? Here, I just want to put on some Limp Bizkit and let's just get going here. Like, holy fuck. So besides that,
Yeah, now you've disclosed that.
should
I
I
guess
tell
we could-
someone?
Maybe.
Should I go see some therapy?
Maybe you should have told her, hey, don't jump on my fucking back without warning me.
Yeah, it was just so destructive. Now I can't wait to go back.
Maybe you should have been like, hey, who's the professional here, buddy? Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's jumping on whose back. Anyway,
Yeah,
okay.
so I just can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
was
I
like,
knew
oh,
it.
that
I
was
knew it. You
awful.
enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yeah. I was like, ooh, Jesus Christ. Can't wait for that. Besides that, we had some rugby that happened.
Yeah.
Lots of rugby.
Big Welsh energy this weekend.
Big dick Welsh energy.
Yeah. Boys are back.
Big
Boys
dick
are back in town.
Welsh
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. You know the song Forgot About Dre? This feels like that.
Some very disappointing results too that I was kind of disappointed in.
You know what? it's Welsh narratives aside, there was an opportunity for so many teams to climb up that little middle patch, and all of them, bar Cardiff and Scarlets, fucked it, basically.
First game that we're going to talk about, Glasgow Bulls.
Oh, this is my favorite game of the weekend, by the way. I mean, yeah, except for being a Cardiff fan, which obviously I'm going to be a fan of. This game was interesting. This was the most meaty of the narratives games. You know what I mean? This was your like proper Sunday roast game.
Yep.
Discuss.
Oh, that's actually the proper way to describe this game.
Yeah, you like that?
Because this was the game, like Glasgow are in second, Bulls are in third.
Yeah.
This is like a battle to
Yeah.
of the ages. Let's get on top.
Yeah.
Like this could have
This was a sniff of the playoffs, right? This is
there
what
was
this
some
is a flavor.
emotion. There was some emotion behind this game too.
Yes.
So
yes, big time.
Like the Bulls wanted this hard. They wanted revenge.
That was the narrative, right? Because the Bulls had said, no, this game isn't about revenge. But can't remember who I was listening to, but they pointed out that the Bulls had said not even that long ago in the season, we've put that fucking game in our calendar. You Scottish bastards.
Yeah, they aimed and they succeeded.
Yeah, so this was definitely a revenge story.
I just would have dropped. I really wanted Glasgow to win this game.
I always do. I genuinely always do.
They just kind of dropped the ball for me.
I'm going to say a few things about it. First, Glasgow's win last year was excellent, but one of the few times ever when a team has all its players fit. They do have a few injuries. Still really missing Tui Pelotu, who's such a big part of that. Hugh Jones looks a bit lost without him in that game.
Yeah.
In that game. Tom Jordan was a bit ropey. But the Bulls felt like... the scoreline doesn't look mental, but the Bulls felt clinical to me.
The stats, if you look at the stats, you would think that Glasgow won this game.
Yeah. Because the Bulls' defense is very good.
The Bulls defended their fucking asses
They
off.
did. They really did.
Because Glasgow was throwing everything, kitchen sink. They were fucking throwing their wives and children at them.
And that worked for them last season. They their attacking style was fucking ferocious, wasn't it? They just came at you like a hurricane, battered the doors down, you know? But yeah, there's a lot of kind of trending up and trending down stories going on. Glasgow are losing momentum at the absolute worst point of the season.
Yeah.
They suddenly look a bit shit.
Yeah.
You know? This is bad
because
timing.
Of injuries, but it's just they don't. There's a few teams that's happening with.
Yes, there are.
There's a few teams that have just not.
Munster, the other one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that game. Cardiff, Munster.
That was the other Friday night game, wasn't it?
There was 3 Friday night.
They were there?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to remind me.
Cardiff boys. The Cardiff boys.
Yeah. Huge packed Cardiff Arms Park, which is always good. Matt Sherratt's brand is on display there. Like, just Cardiff will always score tries. They're a lot like Ulster. They'll always
Cardiff's
score.
brand?
Attack, right? They'll score tries. They will always fucking score tries. They're very similar to Ulster and Harlequins, I feel. Like, they'll take a hiding sometimes because their defense is ropey, but you can always count on them to score some exciting tries. Faletau looked like fucking RD Sevilla. He played like he was 18 years old again. He was unfucking real, you know?
There's kind of some
Munster
mystery around him for next season.
Yeah, there's talk of him. There's
Where he
rumors.
literally said, I don't know what I'm doing next season. I don't know where the fuck I'm going to be.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, it's one of those situations where if he went, he has given Cardiff time, you know? He's given Cardiff some memories and some wins in a time when we needed it. So I think he'd go with everyone's blessing. Because he's not a Cardiff boy, right? He came from the Dragons. He played for the Dragons for a long time. So he deserves to retire in his own way. So I wouldn't blame the guy. But yeah, really, really good for Cardiff. Awesome result. Do I think they'll make a semi-final or even a final? No. But, really happy with... Last year, I think we had 4 wins. So to be 5th in the table and about 10 points clear of our rivals is nice, you know? And Munster... What is wrong with their line-out for a start? Like, fucking hell.
You know what? The line-out is like an Irish thing.
I've heard that. I've noticed it more for Munster.
There's something going on with the lineouts.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna start seeing lineouts being like banned?
No.
So we'll start to, if the Kiwis had problem with lineouts, then you would see the lineouts. But
yeah, exactly. That's not an Irish thing. Is it changed the rules to suit you?
At
least
let's get rid of the lineout. I just the team is too good to be doing how they're doing.
Yeah, they feel like the Sharks sometimes, except Sharks find a way to win. Munster shit the bed more than they should. They've lost that pedigree. And you know the crazy thing is, firing Roundtree made no fucking sense at the time.
Yes.
And maybe there was some master plan, but now it's like, you've
What
just
is the
shit the
plan?
bed and you're
What is
sleeping
going
in
on?
it.
Have they even
Stop
chosen a new
sleeping in your own
coach?
shit. Yeah, they've got a new coach.
Do they have a new head coach?
Can't remember if he's an interim. I forgot his name as well, but yeah, they've got a coach. Wouldn't know it though. Doesn't look like they're practicing.
What the fuck is going on there?
And they're not terrible, but like you said, for the money they've got and the players they've got, Tyburn, Omani, and they're the old guys. They're still excellent players.
Still, like, you got a lot of internationals. Craig Casey.
Yeah, Gavin Coombs.
Jack Crowley.
Yeah, Gavin Coombs had a very good game actually. Yeah, a bunch of guys who I'm just like that's just like you said, that squad should not be underperforming. You know, so why did you fire your coach, silly boys?
Why did you do that?
Silly boys. Because there's a real danger now of there only being one Irish team in the playoffs, which is nuts. I don't think that's ever happened in the URC's timeline.
Good, they deserve it. There's just a lot of players that need to be putting up their hands.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it.
Yeah. And you know, if you're Jack Crowley, I feel like, you know, justice for Jack. He's done everything he can to be Johnny Sexton's replacement. He's grown out his eyebrows as hard as he could. And some young pup comes in who isn't great at defending, is good at a lot of things. And then you kind of think, well, what more have I got to fucking do? What is there to prove now? You know? So maybe he's on a plane to Georgia this summer but he's like, he doesn't need to prove himself in a developmental tour, does he? He's a seasoned veteran who has island caps, who should be starting.
Like any team that has a player called Paddy Patterson, you should be winning.
Should be winning.
Should be winning.
Yeah.
They got a World Cup winning lock on their team, Jean Klein.
Yeah, they do.
You know,
hell of a squad. Cardiff were bankrupt last week. You can't beat Cardiff. We had a great game, by the way.
There's something about that when teams start when they go bankrupt, they start playing better. Like
apparently, yeah, we've got about £20 in the bank account, and we got taken over by the WIU, and we've decided this is the time to be amazing at rugby.
This is the time to win the URC.
You got to love Matt Sherratt, though, haven't you? Comes back from Wales and is just like, I love Cardiff, have some wins.
This is a big win for Cardiff.
It's huge. It keeps us in playoffs.
This was the strongest team that Munster could put out.
And if you look at
what they have right now without
because they Munster also really needed to win this game, and Cardiff desperate because we've got to go to South Africa for our 2 last games of the season. And they're, you think, are we going to win a home game against Munster or 2 away games against South African teams? Although they're all difficult, the more likely one is the home game.
Yeah.
So absolutely had to win this game and did it, which is awesome. Munster, same situation though. They absolutely had to win this game, and they're the ones who 2 yellow cards, and Cardiff absolutely ripped them to pieces in that time. Because there were times when Munster looked their old physical dominating selves, and I thought, they look comfortable here. Couldn't catch a line out. Couldn't keep their discipline in check, and Cardiff absolutely took advantage of that, which was awesome.
You mentioned something that Munster is really missing. Like, I feel like they're just not as tough as they used to be. Yeah. Like, Munster used to be a very physical, tough team. And I feel like they're missing that, like, toughness.
Yeah, there was a time where even Munster on a bad run of games would rock up to a Champions Cup quarter-final, and they just knew how to do it because they would just dominate you physically.
And I think their rugby is kind of old.
It looks outdated recently, doesn't it?
It's like they're playing an outdated game, like a style.
Yeah. And
it's like, if you look at a lot of teams, they're evolving. A lot of teams are really focusing on attack more.
Yeah.
And Munster are kind of trying to play the Munster way that they've always been playing, but they don't have the players for it.
When you have Andrew Earls and Keith Conway on your wings for 10 years, that's kind of how you play, as much as I like those guys. But yeah, you're right. Like they're not known for it, are they? They're not known for swashbuckling wide balls, are they? And the thing is, if you're going to do hard forward carries, your whole pack needs to go over the gain line. There's only really Gavin Coombs doing that on that game, to be honest. And he was still great, but, you know, it was the same with Wales. When Aaron Wainwright is the only guy getting over the gain line, you're not winning anything.
No.
Right? And that's Munster's game plan. Get over the gain line, you know? Didn't work. So...
and they had their party pooped.
I'll fucking take it. Fucking take it. Yeah.
It must have been pumping in Cardiff.
Yeah, that's the biggest...
Like Arms Park must have been like just pumping.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Despite shitty Wales, shitty rugby... Cardiff is like a bit of a shining light this season because they're still getting massive crowds. The atmosphere, even in defeats, is good.
And it shows clear improvement.
Yeah.
It's a legit, like, there's no excuses for Munster.
No, you know, triple the resources.
Yeah.
And
they sent an A squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Cardiff got the win.
They did. And I don't want to sound like a prick because I like Munster. Like, I want them to do well. And to only have one Irish team in the play isn't good for the URC. Never mind Munster or Ireland, right? I want to see more. Munster were kind of the second hope, really, weren't they? And they've still got a chance, but we'll see. We'll see.
Because you always Munster were always the team that, you know, if they weren't the best, they were still beating anyone.
It was rare that they were if they were only a step behind Leinster, that felt normal. They feel way off. They would feel way off where Leinster are now.
Yeah, they need to go on an ayahuasca retreat this summer.
They've got to find the joy again. They've got to find the joy again a bit.
They got to do that Coach Gordon Bombay.
Yeah.
Get on the skates.
Maybe don't fire a successful coach, you know?
Maybe. Or hire a better one. I don't know, like an actual...
Felix Jones going back to South Africa feels like a fucking loss for Munster as well. Like, you had that guy on a plate. Like, go get your boy.
That's the thing, too. Yeah, where the fuck... Like, what happened?
They are dropping balls and how do you drop that ball? He's your boy. Go to South Africa and get him. Whatever you got to do. Forgive him. Buy him a ring. Take him out to dinner.
Because who's the Munster coach now?
I can't remember.
We don't know.
I mean, there is one. And
no
we should
one
know.
knows. Science hasn't figured it out. You know, they can't figure it out. They're doing equations and shit. They got the James Webb Telescope looking at it. Right? You could have had fucking Felix Jones. What happened? Who dropped the ball there?
Munster.
Who dropped the ball?
And it's not like they haven't got money. Like, you just, splash your getting RG Snyman and Damien De Allende money, you know? Go get Felix.
As a Munster fan,
yeah,
I'm happy for Cardiff
to
win this game. So it's not like I'm not like, but fuck Munster.
Yeah.
Like, fuck sakes.
And, to be fair, all the Munster comments I've seen and a Munster friend I know, they've all been gracious. They've all been super gracious. They're like, that was fucking awesome. The URC needs good Welsh rugby. Cardiff Cardiff a bit of a beacon, so I feel bad for him.
The URC needs this.
It does. This was the weekend.
Not just Wales. The URC needs that. They need more teams from other nations stepping up and threatening.
Because I've been saying this a while, right? Like, as much as the Irish dominance annoyed me, it's not like I expect them to get worse. It's on everyone else to get better. So when we do get better, that should be good for the league, right? That's a big talking point, I think, is this league. If we ironically say the URC is the best league, at some point we have to take that a bit seriously and go, we want to be the best league. If we're going to have to travel to South Africa and we lose our local derbies, what we want to see is packed stadiums when another team comes to town. So when Munster come to town, Cardiff is bouncing, that's good for the game. You want to think in 10 years that Cardiff go to Stormers and the whole stadium is bouncing, and vice versa, right? I want Connacht to go to Zebra and it to be absolutely bouncing. That is a sign of a healthy league, and we're taking little steps towards it now, right? Because Ireland have done their part, to be fair to them. They pack out their stadiums, they have good attendance, they're successful, relatively speaking. Everyone else needed to kind of, come on guys, like fucking catch up, So this is good for everyone, I think.
And now for the game with the URC party poopers. The fuck you everyone. Zebra versus Edinburgh. Tie.
Yeah.
Zebra are the fuck you team.
They are.
They're like, fuck you. We're gonna ruin your guys' day.
They are the universal banana skin, aren't they?
Yeah. They're like, fuck it. We're gonna fuck this shit up.
Yeah.
This team is
good for them though.
A special team.
Good for them.
Good for them. Yeah. Edinburgh, what is going on? Finish a game. Finish a game.
Well, they were behind. That final kick was to draw it. Zebra were in the driver's seat here. Edinburgh clawed it back.
Zebra shouldn't be winning this game.
No, they shouldn't.
Zebra have no business winning this game, and they should have won. This team is special. I'm becoming almost a Zebra fan.
Let me put it in context for you, because Zebra have taken some scalps. They've gone hunting this season. They've come back with a big old bag of heavy scalps, right? They're on 5 wins, which doesn't sound great. Edinburgh are on 6 wins. They both have 1 draw. So Edinburgh and Zebra have had pretty much the same season, except for 1 win. So it's not worlds apart, really.
And Edinburgh are a team on paper again, kind of like Munster, where they should be better than they are.
They definitely should be better than they are. Yeah, the resources and players they've got. Yeah,
like this is a good club.
And the thing is, their away record is fucking shocking as well. You know, they got nilled by the Ospreys 43-0 or something like that, and they got absolutely hammered by. Basically, I can't remember exactly, but their away games this season have been not just bad, but terrible, you know? So this isn't out of character. Like, people who follow Edinburgh know this is coming a bit, but you are right. They should win this game. And if you're an Edinburgh fan, you got to remember 10 years ago, they were kind of like the Dragons. They were that bad. You couldn't buy a win. A couple seasons ago, they got some decent players, started winning a lot more, were genuine title contenders about 2 years ago.
Yep.
Just fallen off a cliff now.
Ever since I've been watching, they've always been a decent team.
Yeah.
But good on Zebra.
Yeah, that's the
Zebra.
Yeah.
That's the real story here.
That's the fucking story.
Yeah, they're just coming to fuck shit
Edinburgh.
up.
Fucking Zebra, the guys. Yeah.
Sad story, good story, but sad, but good.
Okay.
But good, but sad.
Okay.
Lions, Connacht.
I was sad about this. This is kind of the both of these guys had an outside chance of making the playoffs. And I don't think it's mathematically impossible still. But they both badly needed to win this, and Connacht needed to win it more. And Lions
last week, Lions looked like the club was completely falling apart.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did. Maybe they had a prayer circle.
Yeah.
And try to bring it together, but they looked like really good.
They did. Wait, was it in South Africa? I can't remember.
It was. Emirates Airline Park.
Johannesburg. Yeah, so I don't know. This game is sad. This game is sad for me because Connacht going as far as they did in the Challenge Cup, have a really good attack, had 1 last throw of the dice. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at it from I kind of wanted Connacht to win more than the Lions. That's what you can probably tell. This was their last throw of the dice, and the Lions just figured their shit out at the last minute, didn't they? They've just finally... Things clicked for them, you know?
Is there like some kind of subconscious thing between us where we don't want the South African teams to win it all?
It's not subconscious for me.
Because of the threat of like...
Yeah.
You know, making like the European teams just look subpar.
That is true. You're absolutely right.
Like there's like a threat there.
I am over my big fear that the South Africans were going to come and just win all the time. I'm over that. There's a danger that could still happen though. They have a lot of very good rugby players.
Well, ever since they've been in the the URC, there's been a South African team in the final.
Yes.
And it's looking like in the first one they were in, it was 2 South African teams in the URC final.
That's true. And if you take Leinster away, which I know is a big if, all of a sudden this is a very South African dominated league, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You know? So that's true. That's
like when
true.
you look at it, like, when it gets to the end of these when it gets to the end of these seasons, these South African teams, you know, they're pretty dominant.
And it's always going to be a bit like that because I remember Ireland with that for a while.
Well, I think as long as South Africa's in the URC, I think it will always be like that, just for the sheer talent that they just churn out over and over and over again.
That's the thing. They do raise that game because there is always a danger that they will absolutely dominate us because they just produce so many fucking rugby players, really good fucking rugby players. And there'll always be that danger. So it's good for everyone. It's like a wake-up call. So you're right. That subconscious desire, I'm not going to lie, I'll always cheer for an Irish team over a South African team in this league. Well, always. I don't know about always, but actually, no, I'd always cheer for South African over Leinster. But every other Irish province, I want them to win more than South African, not least because I'm a bit scared South Africa will just fucking destroy us forever, you know? Because there's a danger of that.
And they should be doing that.
Could say that. People have been saying that about England rugby for a long time, you know?
Yeah, but they got the resume.
They do have the resume.
They have the resume.
They do have the resume.
It's like, it's not surprising. It would be, I guess, I think we're lucky that they haven't won a championship in like 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
So we're lucky for that, because if it was just South African all the time, that might be a worry.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't want them like out of the league or anything.
It's too late now. They're on the board.
Yeah,
it's too late.
I wouldn't
They're
want
here
them
now.
because that would just be like, well, let's kick them out so we can win some games.
Imagine they'd been dominating as long as they've been here, and everyone was like, okay, fuck off, we don't like you anymore. Like, that just seems like pathetic, doesn't it?
Well, it's not the same as like, how like Australia, New Zealand, right? And then like the Kiwis just go over there and just beat the shit out of the Aussies.
Yeah. And
there's just no real like that, like the Super Rugby. You're just like, oh, which Kiwi team's gonna win?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Like the other teams, like the Australia, they're competitive in the URC.
Yeah, that's why I'm grateful for the Irish teams, because if without the Irish, we would not have kept the South Africans in check at all. No, they'd be trampling on our graves for the last few years. So I'm grateful for that. But if you look at the top 8, there is a club from every country in there. Yeah. So that's healthy.
But there is a divide.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Yeah. And actually, there's clubs in there who have no right to be there. Mm-hmm. The Scarlet, Llanelli is 30,000 people. They've got 20 quid in their budget, and they're in 7th place. Like, that's awesome, but it shouldn't be like that.
Last year in the knockout stages, how many Welsh teams were in it? I don't think there was any.
Ospreys.
Yeah.
And they scraped in. Scraped in. Yeah. They literally needed other results to go the other for them.
We'll talk about the Ospreys. They got a big win over Dragons. They just crushed these guys.
I don't remember the last time every Welsh region has won, but it was never going to be this weekend. But I almost wish Ospreys weren't playing the Dragons so that they had a little chance of that happening.
Do you know the Dragons haven't won away from home since 2022?
I believe it. And that actually seems kind of recent, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised. They capitulated.
I was trying to compile all their wins from the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it, but it was starting to look bleak.
Yeah.
This club is just not...
Yeah.
The Dragons are just not... The setup, the whole organization is just not up to snuff with the
They should have almost accidentally had a purple patch by now, right? Because you look at their compatriots at the bottom. I mean, don't mean they're compatriots. You've got Zebra and Edinburgh are the two teams who've historically been... Zebra have been much worse than Edinburgh. Mm-hmm. Zebra, Edinburgh, and at some points Connacht were as bad. All of them have had their moments.
They had their time in the sun.
Yeah. Dragons made, I think, the semi-final or the final in the first ever year of the Celtic League, back in 2003. It's as good as they've ever done. It's 26, 27 years ago.
It's just sad.
It's sad.
To be perpetually bad.
And they don't even have a bad squad. They change coach about every 2 years. Guys like Aaron Wainwright and Rio Dyer, why the fuck do they resign? And I love it. Loyalty. And you want to see it. They're fans. They are still loyal, Mm-hmm. I'd have gone to fucking different sport by now.
Switch codes.
I'd be a fucking pickleball fan by now if it was at Newport. But yeah, good for them, but for the fans, for being loyal. But yeah, what do you do? It's sad.
It's just... It's kind of speechless. There's nothing going to change.
Everything changes. They're going to
be shit next year, too.
They're going to be shit next year. Everything changes. It's just going to be a while.
Unless a Ryan Reynolds comes in.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening next year is all the regions are getting £4 million.
More? Or just that's it?
I can't remember. Either way, if it's $1 million each or $4 million each, still not nearly the same as any other fucking club in this league. But it's a start, might help.
Because I don't know what the youth with the up-and-comers are looking like in Wales.
Good. Dragons are the biggest producer of youth rugby of all the regions. Mm-hmm. I think someone's going to fucking be angry if they hear that. No one listens. I'll just say what I want.
Because I don't know what the up-and-comers are looking like for Wales.
Well, the under-20s had a decent Six Nations, right? Mm-hmm. We actually beat England. We beat Ireland. So there's hope. And a lot of those guys are Dragons players. So, But the thing is, they won't. The problem with Welsh rugby is we're like a leaky little sieve, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Ireland keep their boys. Scotland mostly keep their guys, not always, but we really leak players. We leak talent. You could make a very good 15 out of Welsh guys who are playing for other clubs.
next year, Welsh team is winning the URC.
Could be.
Calling it.
No, we might have money.
Stormers, they pumped Benetton.
Yeah, they did.
This game of pumping. This game of good old couple pumps.
Do you know what happened?
56-5.
Do you know what a rugby royal flush is?
No.
I'm just making this up now, but Sasha Feinberg and Gwamazulu scored a try, kicked a penalty, kicked a conversion, and kicked a drop goal. He did everything.
Oh, fuck.
Everything a fly half can do, he fucking did it. It's a rugby royal flush.
That is a rugby royal flush.
That guy was fucking unreal.
He's gonna, oh man, he's on like every week.
Yeah.
He's like just highlight reel central.
Yeah, he is. He is so good.
I think I said last week, I think he's the best fly half
in
the URC for sure.
Yeah, he is. It's confirmed.
Yeah, and I would say he's the best fly half in the Southern Hemisphere.
I'd say the Milky Way.
In the Milky Way.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
You don't even know the other planets. They could have really good rugby players.
Fuck him. This guy's amazing. He did the royal flush, okay? How many people can say they did the royal flush?
He can have any woman he wants.
He can. He can. He can have any man he wants.
I want to talk about this other big win here.
Yeah.
Of the weekend. Scarlets.
Yeah.
35-22 over Leinster.
Of the Welsh wins, this was the one I'm interested to talk about the most, despite being a Cardiff fan, for a few reasons. Firstly, there are some Scarlets fans I've seen, and tell me if this is bullshit. They were like, "We knew we'd win," and it's like, "Really, really? Yeah, we saw that Leinster lineup and thought we got this." Like, you fucking mental. Like, so first of all, the Scarlets were kind of confident, apparently.
Oh,
Second
really?
of all, their performance backed it up. That was the best Scarlets performance, not that I've ever seen, but it felt like the Scarlets who won the Pro 14 all those years ago. They they weren't afraid to attack. They were not scared of Leinster, right? They really weren't scared of them. Good for them. And then some of those Leinster boys had a shitty day at the office.
Yeah.
Ross Byrne. Cian Healy didn't have a great game, I didn't think.
Ross Byrne. Is he I wonder if he's going to be around next year.
No, I think he signed for Bristol.
No, that's his brother, Harry Burns, with Bristol.
Oh, okay, never mind. I think, did he not say he was leaving? I'm gonna sidestep that because I can't remember. Kieran Frawley was gonna. He was the
fullback.
That's right. He was supposed to be the guy. He could have been. He was in the same conversation as Crowley and Prendergast as Sexton's replacement. Kind of, I wouldn't say fallen off a cliff, but he looks average.
I'd say him and Crowley both.
Yeah, I mean the things with Leinster though, they're so dominant. It's easier to have an easy ride. And Frawley just doesn't look up to it. And that front row they had, Kelleher's a good hooker. And he didn't have a great game. So it wasn't like they all had terrible games. And the Scarlets really put them to it. But that was a Leinster performance, which I think they'll just be like, okay, guys, that was the wake-up call, right? Because right now, Scarlets are the only team in the Northern Hemisphere who've beaten Leinster this season.
No.
Yes.
I thought Leinster have 2 losses.
They've got 2. One to the Bulls and one to Scarlets.
Yeah.
Scarlets the only team in the Northern Hemisphere.
Oh, yes.
Northern Hemisphere is the key word.
Yes.
who've beaten Leinster. And yeah, you'll have people say, oh, that was Leinster's B team or whatever. That is, okay, fair enough. It's not their first team, but their budget for their C team is triple what the Scarlets is. And there's a lot of fucking internationals in that team as well, right? Cian Healy and Kelleher in the front row alone.
Well, you got Healy, Kelleher, Clarkson,
Ryan Baird, Frawley, Ross Byrne, Osborne, who's a very good player.
Yeah, Ross Byrne, Frawley.
Yeah, it's not a terrible team, is it?
So, yeah, Jamie Osborne, he's a really good player.
Yeah, and you were talking about him like
Gus
he was...
McCarthy, the backup hooker.
Yeah.
Like, Rabah Soleimani.
Yeah, we're only bringing Rabah Soleimani on.
Yeah. Like, these are good operators.
Yeah, and Leinster should be a bit disappointed. You should win that game, to be honest.
You should
win that game.
You should have won that game.
Yeah.
But good on the Scarlets.
Yeah, good for them.
Scarlets are like, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Fuck you.
No one beats the Scarlets 12 times in a row. So yeah, pretty happy with that result for the Scarlets. Hope for the future. I don't know so much, but just what Welsh teams needed this weekend though, because fucking hell, it's been depressing. And know what's funny about Leinster? In order for Munster to climb up the league a bit, they really needed to win in Cardiff and for the Scarlets to lose. So it's like Leinster, even in defeat, are mocking the other Irish provinces a bit here. It's like, fuck off. You're not climbing up the league. I don't think so. We're the only team in the top 8.
Surprising result.
Yeah.
Concerning result.
Yeah.
Sharks.
Yeah.
They got the win again.
Yeah.
But they had to really fight for it.
This was the two meme teams of the season for me. Ulster Ulstering it and the Sharks sharking it.
Yeah, because Ulster, they were up like fucking, what was it? Like, they were up 19-0 or something like that at halftime. It was something fucking crazy.
Do you know who's having a hell of a game as well? Fucking old Jacob Stockdale having the time of his life.
Jacob Stockdale was playing fly half, and he was having a game.
He was having a game.
And then they just decided to be like, okay, we're fucking done.
Yeah.
At halftime, they're just like, no, no more.
Yeah, and Sharks did everything they needed to do in about 15 minutes, you know? It's like, we got time, bang one out.
Oh, man, they just fucking... but the concerning thing is this Sharks team and the struggling. Yeah. The struggles.
That you've got the Springboks national side struggling to be a really down on the luck Ulster.
Oxen Che, Bungie Mumbonambi, Vincent Koch.
Yeah.
Like these
you
are
could keep going.
Khaleesi.
You could keep going all day, by the way.
Jaden Hendricks, Jordan Hendricks.
Yeah.
Like, Mapimpi.
Yeah.
Fucking Louis like, it's just like...
No excuse.
Yeah.
No excuse for win.
Fassi, like, this is a fucking, like, good team.
It is a very good team.
And just, concerning.
Yeah.
It's
weird to say that, though, isn't it? Because they won. But it is concerning.
This team,
you should be battering teams. I'm not saying you should batter Ulster this weekend particularly, but there should be 4 or 5 fucking hammerings to your name this year.
100%.
You know, and it doesn't... Like, if Leinster are eviscerating Harlequins in Glasgow in the Champions Cup, where the fuck are you, Sharks? Like...
Because the Sharks, they should be the Leinster this year.
They very well could be.
They should. When you see that team, and who's on it, like this should be the Leinster. They should be the Leinster.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? They've had 5 losses.
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on?
Conspiracy. On Ulster though,
it's because they do not have.
Oh, you had a conspiracy. I thought you were just baiting me. Go ahead.
They don't have a fucking what's his nuts.
They don't have a Willie.
They don't have a Willie.
Don't have a Willie LaRue.
They don't have a Willie LaRue.
He plays for the Bulls though.
I know. That's why the Sharks are struggling. They don't have a Willie LaRue.
Where's your Willie?
Because the Bulls look really good, but they have a Willie LaRue.
Do you think they're just so happy they've all got a World Cup medal in their locker? They're like, we don't fucking just dial it into the end of the season.
I think it's a mixture of things with the Sharks. I think it's the age profile of these guys.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's the age profile.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of having. I think these guys are stars, but these guys are aging.
Yeah, you know when you go to rugby training like in our club and there's, we've got our kind of older guys and I'm running the warm-up and I'll say to something, you know what, the older guys, you don't need to do that so much. I know you need to stretch. You go stretch. This is one of those teams where every single one of them is doing their own stretch instead of warming up with the team.
Yeah, they need to stretch.
They're just covered in tape and stretching for half an hour.
There's just a lot. You know what? There's a lot of miles on these guys.
That's true.
These Springbok guys are playing a lot of rugby.
That's
true. I think, like, we talked about this a while ago about how these Springboks, they have no rest in rugby.
That's right.
And I think the Sharks is kind of like proving us right about this.
It's the epitome, isn't it?
Yeah, they're kind of like, it feels like they're almost like scraping by to the end. Like they're just crawling to the to the I don't get me wrong, I think the Sharks could win.
Yeah.
The Sharks or Bulls are my 2 favorite teams probably to win the URC this year.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And like I just feel like the Sharks are just with the players they have in their age profile.
Yeah,
they're just crawling. They're just trying to survive. Like, well, okay, guys, we only got a few more games that we can have. We can finally go to bed.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You know? So if they're dialing it in, this is a very impressive dialing it in. Actually, yeah. There's guys in that team. Imagine there's a Venn diagram of pay, how much you're playing. You've got the Northern Hemisphere in one bubble. Mm-hmm. You've got the Southern Hemisphere in another bubble. Mm-hmm. And how much games they play every year. South Africa are bang in the middle. of that Venn diagram.
They're the Chinese sweatshop of rugby.
They get smashed between the two hemispheres and they get munched down to fucking cornflakes, don't they? But there's just the guys in... I understand. They are knackered. They play them... South Africans play the most rugby out of any rugby that's ever rugbyed, right? Mm-hmm. So I get it. They're tired. But still, you have the fucking... You have a Springboks team, you know? You are the world champions. Mm-hmm. You can rotate a bit if you want. You know, it's not like it's not like you have a shallow squad like the Dragons do. You can rotate a bit. You know, give some of these guys a hit out. We don't see the Sharks making that excuse that Leinster do. Oh, that was our C team, right?
No.
They played Sia Khaleesi a lot, you know? So, yeah.
Maybe he is fat.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a fatty now.
Well, like you said, he's old, so he's entitled to be fat. I want to say one thing about more Ulster, though. I'm looking at the guys who are leaving that team. Fucking hell, it's not looking good next season. Because about 2-3 years ago, they were not only good, they were title contenders. One of my favorite players in the URC in the last 10 years has been John Cooney. Mm-hmm. And him leaving is just fucking heartbreaking. He deserves so much more. He deserves way more Island caps. They got this other guy, Cormac.
Where is he going?
I think he's retiring. I can't remember, but I think
he's up there in age.
He's old. He's old. Yeah, and his kick percentage is very good. Mm-hmm. This other guy, Cormac, is a Chukwu. He should get more. He's kind of like Gavin Coombs. He deserves a lot more Island caps because he was another one who was very good in that game.
Didn't you say he was a smoker?
No, that was Cian Healy.
Oh,
who I heard was a smoker. I'm talking about Gavin Coombs is not. No.
He does. He's in and out of the. Is it Chukwu? He's in and out of the.
He's
Ireland
been a training panelist.
Yeah. He's played some games. He's got caps.
He does, but I just think he deserves more. You know, I think that's the thing. In an age where you pick a Leinster guy,
he's not leaving, is he?
No, he's just very good.
Is Tamouni leaving?
I think he might be.
Now you're just making shit up.
I think Ulster are folding as a team. I think they might be. They're going down to 3 provinces geographically as well as in rugby. I think. No, they are having some budget issues though. That's what I heard because they redid their stadium and a lot of their fans are like, we didn't need to do that, and now they're poor and now all their players are leaving. So it's a bit like someone's pulled the plug on Ulster. Not trying to be dramatic, but they are folding. They're not. I like Ulster. I think Ulster are my favourite Irish team because they remind me of Cardiff.
English?
No, Steve. No, Steve, because they attack good. Viva England.
Long live the king.
Yeah, I want to cause any political fights. No, not at all.
Do you want to switch over to a different league? Do you want
to
talk about the Prem?
Yeah, I do actually.
What's going on with the Prem?
Do you want me to tell you a little tale about the Prem? Last year it was my favourite league. Because every game was tight, competitive. They had the same thing the URC's got this year. They had a really tight middle pack of teams, right? And this year, it isn't that. Everyone else in the whole world, including the Gallagher Prem, is attacking more. That's great. The scorelines this year across the board have been mental, right? But the saddest story this year is the Exeter Chiefs.
Oh my fucking God. What the hell happened to the Chiefs?
Do you want to know the story of this game?
Do you remember how much I always talked them up?
They were your favourites. You liked them for the racist chants and the rugby.
Yeah. I was like, for sure, like, this is the team of the future. I thought they were the team of the future.
Yeah, they looked like it.
Now you have fucking Bath sitting at number 1.
Yeah. No identity Bath.
Yeah, the most boring fucking club ever to exist.
Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah. The Rice Krispies of fucking rugby. Like the non-flavored
brand sugarless cereal.
Yeah. When you pull up Bath Rugby, you're like, oh yeah, can I have some cereal? Yeah. Here you go. Here's the no flavored Cheerios.
Yeah. Like, if they changed their logo to a picture of an actual bath, no one would notice. They'd be like, whatever.
No one would notice.
No.
It's Exeter Chiefs
it's a sad
are
story.
in a complete fucking collapse of what the fuck happened to this team.
Do you know what the worst thing is? We're going to go fucking see them.
Yes.
In about 3 weeks. We're going to a game.
I think a year ago, we planned this trip.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, let's go see a Prem game because we'll be in London.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we saw Harlequins versus the Chiefs.
And we're like, yes.
Yes.
Here we go.
This is going to be a good game.
Heavy hitters.
I'm thinking the Chiefs are going to be awesome this year.
Yeah, because they got a lot of youth.
Harlequins, they got fucking stars all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm like, now we're going to go see the 8th place team play the 9th place team.
For no reason at all.
For no reason at all.
Yeah.
And we're probably not going to see anyone.
We paid a lot of fucking money. I think it's £75 a ticket, which is outrageous, actually. It's fucking outrageous. If you see a single player you recognize, I'm going to be surprised.
Yeah, me too.
We're going to be sat next to Marcus Smith. He's going to be sat there with a Starbucks going, what the fuck is this, you know?
Oh, you guys paid for this game?
Yeah, fucking losers.
Yeah. He's just mocking
Yeah.
us. This is... Oh, my God.
This better be so good of a game because no one gives a shit.
Yeah, hopefully.
Not despite it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because they basically have nothing to play for.
No.
So it's just, especially Exeter. Well,
Yeah.
Exeter are playing for pride. They're trying to keep their jobs.
Are they, though? Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, here's the story of the game, all right? So first thing I heard is that someone in the Exeter Chiefs camp had said that that Gloucester was soft. So the Gloucester team hear this, and they said, one of the Welsh boys at Exeter said, we're soft. Fuck that. Then Gloucester proved that they are in fact not soft, and someone else is.
You gotta
soft.
watch out when he talks shit.
If someone posts your face with a quote in the dressing room, you fucked up, right?
Did Warren Gatlin go in the Gloucester changing room and tell him this?
Yeah.
Boys, they've been
They've been talking bad about you.
talking bad about you. They're training harder. They said
I heard it was Dav Jenkins. That's the rumor I heard. I did actually. That's the rumor I heard. I saw Christian Wade talking to Ugo Monye about it
just
on telly.
a fucking annihilation.
Yeah. But then the worst thing about this is that they suspended 2 of their assistant coaches after the game, and the owner of the club was seen like berating the team. It was kind of dramatic.
Oh,
It's got kind of boardroom firings.
that just makes everything worse.
Yeah, it does. And it makes it like, you know, the defeat on its own, a bit funny and memey. Now it's a bit like, oh, this is sad. This is actually people losing their jobs.
When the owner comes in, he starts yelling at the players and shit.
Yeah.
That doesn't help anything.
It doesn't help.
No, that's just going to make everything worse. It's going to kill the mood.
Yeah. This is a business, and I understand, but these guys are professional, well-paid athletes. Get your shit together.
Do you know who knows how to take a shit team and make is it Matt Sherritt? Is that his name?
Yeah, Cardiff coach. Yeah.
This guy is what Exeter need.
They need positivity.
They need
don't
a positive.
They need love
they need
and
a guy
positivity.
that's like, okay, you know, shit's rough, but you know what?
Yeah.
We might have some rough games.
Yeah.
He knows how to change the mood of a like. Look what he did in Wales.
Yeah, and I'm still happy we came. Even though we got absolutely fucking hiding off England, he still came and did the right thing on a very short time span. Definitely.
Yep. And it's that's what they need right now.
They do.
You
I
need
agree.
a complete change in atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because if they're just going into practice, feeling like shit, they just got yelled at.
Well, we've seen what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No.
No.
You've got to believe you're going to win to get a win as well.
Yeah.
You have to believe it, you know? And rugby, much more so than other games. You can't fluke a win in rugby. In football, soccer, it's 0-0. We get lucky in the box, we knock one in. We could win the game if we hang on. In rugby, if you don't believe you're going to win, the other team will come at you like fucking lions and they'll put 50 points on you, right?
Yep.
Like you cannot, there's not a second in a game of rugby where you can switch off, right? You don't get lucky in rugby. You have to believe, you know? So, fuck. The thing is, I like Rob Baxter. He is one of the guys, if you'd asked me like 6 months ago, hey, who do you want as the Wales coach? I'd have said Rob Baxter.
He seems to be the guy that says the right thing a lot.
He's very diplomatic, yeah.
But there's something I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this team is not doing way better than they should.
I think they over-relied on youth. They had this very young squad, and
which I thought was going to develop into something special.
But they lost, losing people like Luke Cowan-Dickey and, some other senior players, it hurt them more than they realize, I think. Because these guys won the Champions Cup and the Prem, right? It's almost funny now. This team won the Champions Cup and the Prem not that long ago, and they don't even look like they could. If there was relegation, they'd be in free fall,
Because you'd have you guys had like Jack Knoll, Stuart Hogg was there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, these were like a sexy
before he was in and out of jail and
for his well documented troubles. Yeah. This was a good team with good players, right? Like household name players, and now their household name Emmanuel Feyi-Waboso hasn't fired a shot all season. Yeah, he's injured. But, the guys they put some faith in, where are you now, They really need you. So.
In other rugby news, Women's Six Nations.
You wanted to talk about this. I'm actually excited. I don't know what you're going to talk about. I want to talk about
Surprising results.
Yes.
England, Grand Slam. What is this, like the ninth in a row?
That's not a surprise, is it? But the surprise is that France took them that close. It was a close fucking game.
It's
it's getting closer. Don't worry.
For women's rugby, there's a lot of positivity here.
Yeah,
because you're seeing the English women like you're seeing them like do some incredible things.
Yeah.
But as a whole, as a product, trying to sell the product, I think it's pretty bad to have one team that's just going to win it.
You're talking like you're treading on eggshells. Say the thing you want to say.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's bad for business to have one team that's just is going to win it.
It needs to be more entertaining.
It needs to be more competitive.
If I mean you, we give a shit about women's rugby. We really fucking do.
What do you think I was going to say?
I was only messing with you. I thought you were going to say some misogynistic thing. I was only teasing you. You weren't really. Yeah. Because I know you care about it and I know I care about it. And but what you're trying to say is if this game grows, it has to be more competitive and entertaining, right?
I just didn't pay attention to it at all because I just already knew the outcome.
And to be honest, it was almost exactly as predicted except for this weekend. And that was only a couple of results. Scotland are looking good, which is awesome. Ireland are looking really good. So losing Scotland was the surprise for me. Eve Wafer is very fucking good for Ireland. Wales, we've got a new coach. I know we lost every game. I'm not worried about it. We're just in a bit of a lull. We need to come back to it. Italy have improved. Scotland improved. Ireland improved.
Yeah.
France took England to a point. Next year, it will be more competitive. But someone except England needs to win.
Professional setup is for the French girls.
Yeah, it's almost equivalent to England. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know if they had a professional league.
Do. Yeah, they do.
I didn't know if they're full-time professionals or not.
They are, yeah.
And you just had the Celtic League just start up.
But, yes, you did, and that's great. But most of the Welsh players play in England and have been playing professionally for a long time.
Which is good.
It is good.
Yeah.
Which is why that's almost our weakness right now because we're not as good as we should be in the Celtic League because our best players are playing in the Prem. So when they come together, they haven't been playing together, which is our weakness. So like I said, I'm not too worried about this long term, actually.
Yeah, me too. I like with everything that's going on, you see like down the pipeline.
Yeah.
It looks positive.
It does.
And it will get more competitive.
Yeah.
It's just like right now, especially in the stages where they're trying to like grow the product as much as possible.
Yeah.
The lack of competition is really like hindering it.
Yeah.
Because only guys like you and me, or like people that know, that like pay attention to it, understand where it's going.
Yeah.
But people that don't
couldn't care less
because like, oh, it's a fucking point.
And you can't make people care about things. You can't raise an issue and go, hey, we want to raise the profile of women's sports. Cool, good for you.
Yeah.
You have to entertain people.
Yeah.
You really do. It's the truth.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, seriously. So for this to get better in terms of audience, and it's not bad for audience, but England need to lose. But they're still the team that drive the standard for women's rugby. So they need to lose to a better team than them.
Yes.
They don't need to get worse. France need to get better. And they're so fucking close.
It also doesn't look good when you go to World Cup and you lose.
Yep.
To
yeah.
New Zealand that they
who
just
don't
decide.
Have.
Yeah.
Nearly
and they're like, oh, yeah, I guess we'll do you guys like 6 months before the
Oh, hi, England. Yeah, we'll give you a game. And then fucking, just come out with a win. They made it look casual. They didn't know it was a close game, but they did very well, didn't they? But
but it's down the pipeline. This is going to get really competitive.
And I'm worried about Canada because I'm a Canadian citizen, TM, and they're
fucked.
But they're so good.
Yeah, but
almost like, how the fuck are you so good?
Yeah, but these girls that are walking on to these professional teams, that's going to end.
Yeah.
Because the competition down below trying to get into these teams now
100%,
in the home nations is going to become way more competitive.
Yeah.
These Canadian girls aren't even going to start. It's going to be a point where they can't even sniff a professional
Very
contract.
good point. Yeah, in 10 years, we don't want you.
No, because we have 50 girls.
Yeah, and we haven't got that many teams.
That are just, killing each other to get into this.
Yeah, and
full time.
Let's not forget, they just started a professional league in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
Decent, actually. Give it a watch. But the USA, sure, they'll have some Canadians in that league, but very quickly, that's going to be populated with a lot of Americans who have a professional league, and that's going to translate onto the field. And, people like Iona Mayer, who's raising the profile of American women's rugby, Canada are going to be left behind a wee bit, and that's sad because they're the second best team in the world. You know,
you're going to see them. You'll definitely in the next like 5 years, I would say.
Yeah,
it's going to happen quick.
Yeah,
you're going to see them drop.
Yeah,
they're going to be like the men.
I agree. Yeah,
and it's going to be sad because you're like, wow, we were like the best.
Could have had it all.
Yeah, could have had it all.
Yeah,
and unless like Rugby can't like, I don't even know what they can do, but like it's just the development below. Like especially in the home nations, in those 6 nations, like the development below is going to get so much more money poured into it, and these girls are going to be, the quality of players coming up through the ranks is going to be higher and higher and higher. And then in Canada, all these girls have is their beer league team,
and we see this firsthand. We had an athlete for our club who was very you knew watching her play. This is one of the best rugby players in the country at amateur level. She went to another club, and then she went to play in Australia and now England and played for Canada, right? That was the pathway. Someone was like, hey, she's fucking good, right? And then there was some other girls from another club in the city. Their trajectory was the same. They played amateur level in the first division, and at some point someone was like, it's a shame they're not playing at a higher level. That's the fucking process. And as soon as that door is closed, hey, you're really fucking good. Do you want to go play professionally in England? We don't want you. We've got hundreds of girls now who are really good. Like
Canada at least needs like a high level national competition.
And it's not going to happen.
For the women.
And it's difficult.
And for the men too. They need them both. Just to maintain just to maintain that and they need it at all ages. They need like a national like league at U13 starting.
Need a provincial best team, which they have, but is, you know the problems there. And then but if America is that far ahead in terms of having a women's professional league, Canada doesn't have the money or the resources to do that. They very quickly become like a Fiji, right? Where their best players have to play in another country if they want to play for their national side, because they have to have that professional experience. So
we need a Canada Drua.
We need a Canada Drua,
You want to talk about some URC more?
Yeah, I do.
Because
it's on you. Let's go.
The URC is in trouble. What are you doing? What is that? Oh, yeah.
So I'm just playing footsie.
Yeah. That was just the wrong hand signal.
Yeah.
I was like, you want to give me a hand job?
Well, like you don't want one.
URC's in trouble.
It is.
It's low quality.
Who said that? Who said that?
Steven, what the fuck's his name now? Did you have his name written down?
I did. It's easy to remember because he's got your first name and part of my last name. His name is Stephen Donald.
Stephen Donald.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on that show. I think it was The Breakdown.
Yeah, he's the guy.
The Breakdown always has some of the craziest fucking takes.
I swear they fucking do it on purpose, right?
It's almost like they don't. It's real when you're listening to some of their takes on anything outside of New Zealand, you could really tell they do not pay any attention at all.
This has shades of when Reece Patchell did a single offload in a game, and everyone was like, "Oh, look at him now doing offload. Now he's in New Zealand." It's like, you don't think he ever did an offload before? This man is a professional rugby player.
Because this is like
so out of touch.
He's talking about. I think he was talking about Jordy Barrett. And he's like, the URC competition is probably a very, very low level compared to Super Rugby.
Why did he have to say very twice?
The Champions Cup stuff certainly would be of the same level as Super Rugby.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like, and then like this other guy agrees with him, like the URC might not be as good as Super Rugby, but it's just like, it doesn't harden you up for international rugby. And then is like, the Champions Cup is probably the equivalent to Super Rugby.
It's laughable, isn't it?
Maybe the Champion Cup, maybe. Right? Yeah. And it's just like, what are you talking about?
New Zealand, as a rugby nation, are in danger of isolating themselves, not just on the rugby field, but in the popular globe, in the zeitgeist of rugby. Of all the things we talk, and it's all because of the breakdown sometimes. It's like they give him a slip of paper and $50, hey, you've got to say this. I'm not saying that. Nah, you've got to, mate. This is our thing. We say dodgy things. And, if there's anyone from New Zealand listening, we love you, we respect you, but you've got to jail some of these people.
Yeah.
You have to jail some of these people.
Straight to jail.
They're doing you no favors. It's just,
like just so out of touch.
It is. That's it. It's not. I could handle an opinion. I can handle some spicy opinion, but this just screams I've never watched a game of USC in my life. I've never watched it. I don't know what the fuck goes on over in Ireland, but Geordie Barrett's there and he must be absolutely killing it. Of course he's a really good fucking rugby player, right? But he's as good as every other fucker on that team at times, right? Like, yeah. So it just, do you watch? Have you watched the Champions Cup? Like, pretty fucking good. At the business end anyway. At the business end, it's very competitive,
it's just such an out of touch comment, and I was looking. I was like, you like,
yeah,
like I almost want to say like, yeah, you put Leinster in the fucking Super Rugby League, and they'll just destroy everyone.
They're the new Crusaders, mate.
They would just wipe the floor with everyone.
Yeah. And they don't have to play in two leagues. They don't have to do the Champions Cup. They'll just focus on Super Rugby.
Now, just saying that though, Leinster would to be fair though, about this, yeah, I agree. If they put Leinster in the Super Rugby, they would destroy everyone. Right?
Okay, now are we becoming those dickheads?
Yeah.
Okay,
but
all right.
To be fair for the New Zealand clubs, is that all their talent is pretty spread out between those New Zealand clubs.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be like it's not like you have all the best players in one club.
They used to,
right? Now, if you put all the best players in one club for Super Rugby, and then you put Leinster in there, that's probably not going to happen. Right. But like, you're not going to walk into, like, you wouldn't walk into the URC and just own it.
No. Well, the South Africans proved that, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And like, it just, and then in the time at the end of like the super, like at the end of like, even to be fair too, when before South Africa left Super Rugby, they weren't having that great success in Super Rugby.
No, they weren't. It was always New Zealand.
They had a huge talent drain.
Yeah.
Right? And South African rugby at that time, like at nearing the end of their Super Rugby era, was not in a good spot.
It wasn't. No.
Like the team wasn't that good.
No, they were not very good at all. They got beaten by Italy.
Yeah, they were leaking players all over the place, and there was no connection with those players.
Yeah.
So they were just scraping with whatever that was left in the country.
Yeah.
They had a huge shift in. They also had that huge shift where they brought in that player quota system.
Yeah.
So now you had you didn't have a bunch. They needed all these players, but they didn't have those players developed.
Yeah.
Right. So now they're scrambling to get they're to get the black players they need for these teams. They don't have them because none of the other clubs behind them were like, well, we didn't give a fuck, right? We don't want these, right? I was like, well, you guys got to start developing these players, and so the catch up that they had to do, and what happened with them, like now, how they're like the best team in the world, like Springboks and are back as the best nation in the world. Like it's completely different. They're completely different franchises now than what they were when in the last few years they were in Super Rugby.
So much so that we expect more of teams like the Sharks, right?
Yes.
We know you're incredible.
Yes.
We know you can play to a very, very high
100%.
standard. Yeah, and they're still not far off the top,
like
right?
I could say if you put the South African teams back in Super Rugby, I guarantee they'd win it.
Yeah.
Right? They would win it.
That's strong to say, actually. That's strong to say.
The Bulls have Willie LaRue. They'll fucking win it.
Yeah, fuck, I didn't think about that. And Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu is the new Willie LaRue.
Yeah, New Zealand doesn't have
That's right. That's right. They don't have a Willie.
They don't.
They don't have actually, good point. I take it all back. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just
are we just having our USC boys back right now, or is it how much is objective versus how much is fuck off Stephen Donald?
Probably about a 60-40.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah. But they do, to be fair, like I said though, like their talent is spread out between their 5 teams.
Yeah.
Right? So they would have a rough time because you have in the URC you have some heavy hitting teams.
You could even say
you have some stacked teams. Now if they went into they would even have a worse time in the top 14. Because there's a lot of stacked teams in there.
Yeah. And you could say that talent dilution doesn't make a difference, but we know it does. Look at Scotland, right? As soon as they started, the national side's progress, and is progress, they're not as good as they could be, is better, right?
And
Glasgow, Scotland isn't a rugby country, and Glasgow are the USC champions, right?
Yeah. And what even makes this crazier is the two top URC nations, like All Blacks Ireland, they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
Since for the last 10 years, they've been neck and neck. winning and losing against each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how is that? Like, if the URC is such a low level, how is that happening? And the Springboks keep fucking kicking their ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How is URC such a low level?
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Right?
You know,
so
we know
it's just a crazy statement to make.
Yeah, it's a bit mental. I'm glad that Jake White and Plumtree had our back though, because they made a good point. I think it was Jake White who made a good point. He said Super Rugby changed so much, you could never say what it was, right? You could never say what it was because the format changed every year. You had Japan there, you had Argentina there, you had South Africa there. You've brought in Fiji and Moana Pacifica. Super Rugby has been more of a weird amalgamation than the URC ever was or is, right? It's always been a bit of a freak in terms of who's involved. So to say it's the highest standard doesn't stand up to scrutiny because objectively it hasn't been the same bloody thing year on year, almost for 10 years, right? So who the fuck knows, actually? I still think New Zealand set the standard in terms of attacking play. They still know how to innovate. They still know how to attack. But the rest of the world, France and Ireland particularly, have really caught them up. And France aren't scared of New Zealand at all. They love beating New Zealand. Mm-hmm. Ireland, you're right. Ireland aren't scared of them at all. I think New Zealand have had the edge in the last couple of games, but that doesn't tell the whole story, does it? All it's going to take is England to finally win a game against them since that last World Cup when they did, or 2 World Cups ago when they did, for everyone to go, actually, guys, you're not even in the top 3 anymore. You know, I want them to be. I want a good New Zealand, but when you say shit like that, it makes people want to beat you more, right? You know, go about your business.
It's just unreal.
Yeah, very silly. Very silly.
Yeah, silly. It's cute.
It is silly. It's a bit silly. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, though. I still think if you put all the best, well, that's you say that. Well, it just we'll just have to wait till the All Blacks play another URC nation.
Well, I think Ireland are playing New Zealand this summer, aren't they? So.
No, they're not.
Oh, are they not? They're not playing in Las
France
Vegas?
is going over there.
Aren't New Zealand playing Ireland in Las Vegas this summer?
Oh, no, that's in November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for that.
Yeah, then we'll learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, Frank,
you don't want to talk about who's going to win the Champions Cup a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
We can be brief.
We could be pretty brief on that.
Yeah.
Saturday, Leinster, Northampton Saints.
I'm gonna be real brief. I think Scarlets will finish this season as the only team in the Northern Hemisphere to beat Leinster. I'll put it that way.
Until they get to the French teams.
I don't know. The Leinster's first team is that fucking good. I've changed my mind a bit.
Yeah.
I think Leinster win the Champions Cup.
Northampton, first of all, have no fucking reason being here.
No.
They literally, shouldn't even be there. It's surprising that they're there. They're going to get fucking destroyed.
Talk about the Champions Cup being as good as Super Rugby. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
This doesn't hurt. This doesn't help our cause.
This doesn't help our case at all, does it?
Yeah. Maybe Steven was on to something.
Yeah.
Sunday's game. I think it's Sunday's game. Toulouse, Bordeaux.
We should watch that together, shouldn't we?
Yes, we will watch that, and then we'll do a pod afterwards because it is going to be cray-cray.
I think Bordeaux lost a game this weekend. They're starting to show some signs of weakness.
Could be resting some. They're probably resting some players because they got a big fucking game next weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and Leinster were doing just the same. So maybe you're right.
Yeah, heavy hitters, big boys are going to collide on the weekend.
At least 3 big boys.
At least 3
big boys are involved
and
in some
Northampton
rugby.
Saints.
Yeah.
That, they're coming up in their Toyota Corolla.
What do you do if you're part of the 30 other teams who've got fuck all to do this weekend in the Northern Hemisphere now?
I don't know.
What do they do?
The best is going to play this weekend, and Northampton is there.
Northampton is also playing.
Fucking 8th in the... it's just... Yeah, it's kind of comical.
Yeah.
But
get milled.
How much... if Northampton win... Fuck.
Oh.
We'd have to eat something like a shirt, or we have to eat a shoe.
I'll tell you what, if Northampton win, we'll buy a jersey. How about that?
We'll buy
Seriously.
I want a Northampton jersey anyways.
Okay. Doesn't sound like a punishment.
Yeah,
but I'm going to buy a jersey.
Yeah. It's just...
You like their new Microsoft Paint logo?
It would be the biggest upset in rugby in a long time.
It would be the biggest upset since Scarlets beat Leinster.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to mention it because I want to. We've got the Challenge Cup semis, Edinburgh and Bath. Leon Racing 92.
Leon?
I think say Racing 92. Toulouse Bordeaux, who's going to win? Toulouse Bordeaux.
Oh, God, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
Toulouse.
I think Bordeaux.
I think Toulouse.
I'm going to go with Bordeaux. Bordeaux boys.
You've got a pair of fucking Toulouse shorts. I've seen you wear them.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah, I take it back. Toulouse. Toulouse because I own some shorts. I love those shorts. I wear them all the
they're
time.
stylish. I like them.
Yeah, I like them.
That's
love
why
those
I remember
shorts.
them.
Yeah, forget about that. Fuck Bordeaux.
Fuck Bordeaux. Toulouse.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
Yeah.
Toulouse
to win. Let's go.
Toulouse to win.
All right.
All right, friends. Like and share the podcast. You can email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com.
Send us some questions, actually. I would like to answer a question.
And like and share the podcast. Mention some places. Post us on some social medias. Be like, these guys don't know what they're talking about.
We really don't.
Yeah, these idiots shouldn't have a podcast.
No.
Yeah, something like that. We'll take that. We'll take anything.
Send us your Kiwi hate.
Yeah, send us your Kiwi hate.
Your league is shite and USC is leagues better. Get fucked, Stephen Donald. What do you think about that?
All right, cheers.
Bye.
Have a good one.